Ray, can you give me your evaluation thus far of specifically the two rookies on the offensive line and how each one of them has looked to this point?
Love them. All three. Mason McCormick.
Oh, yeah, I keep forgetting McCormick, but he was the guy getting after Landon Roberts pretty good.
Yeah, listen, Mason's not going to play this year, but they have plans for Mason down the road. I mean, Troy Fautano, people were worried about, he played mostly left tackle at Washington. People worried about him making that transition to right. I don't see any issues. His footwork is pretty. I mean, it's solid. He's just a really polished football player from a fundamental perspective. And I know there was speculation out there, guys, about him moving to guard because he doesn't have prototypical tackle size, but I don't see it. He's got everything it takes to be a tackle, and I think we're going to see him slotted in there at right tackle as a starter before the season. I believe that, and I think you'll see Broderick go over to the left side. As far as Frazier goes, he's on a similar path, guys. I mean, I've watched him in one-on-ones the first 2 day-in pads. I want to say one questionable rep. I think it was a stalemate. I thought he won the other reps against Montrevious Adams. And I think the other one was against Brandon Fehoko. So I think 5 out of the 6 reps I watched, he won. He maybe even won 6 out of 6. So both those guys are going to be starters this season, just a matter of when.
What's going on at inside linebacker? Dulac made it sound like Cole Holcomb could get cut before the season even starts because his injury, I guess, is not to the point where he's ready to even get out there and do much, Ray. And then who looks like the guys, and Peyton Wilson apparently showing up to practice 5 hours before it starts every day. So what's going on at that position?
I mean, Terrell Austin said in the spring he thinks Peyton Wilson is the perfect dime inside linebacker. So I think you'll see him part of the sub packages. Obviously, Landon Roberts and Patrick Queen are going to be in there in the base. Both those guys are really solid downhill football players. So they are really set up well from a depth perspective. The Cole Holcomb thing is really unfortunate for him. I haven't even seen him here at camp. I maybe saw him on report day, but he's not out there on the practice field at all from what I can see. And, I'd be surprised if the Steelers cut him. But listen, if the injury is so bad that there's no chance of him coming back this year, then, they're going to have to go through their options there. And, I suppose cutting ties with him would be one of them. But I would hope they want to work with him, just put him on IR and, maybe there's maybe he can get back in the second half of the season.
Ray, as the sober-minded, let's not jump to conclusions guy on this show, I don't want to get caught up in any kind of cases of training camp hopium here, okay? I don't want to start taking that camp hopium. But I keep reading and hearing that Donte Jackson is more than holding his own at cornerback, that he's gone up against George Pickens at times, and he has looked much the part of a true CB2. Your evaluation of Jackson thus far?
Yeah, we got a lot of Donte versus George in the unpadded practices. I haven't seen that as much since they put the pads on. But yeah, definitely that first week of camp, I thought he was good when he was matched up against Pickens. They're just hoping for him to be solid, guys. Their number one corner is Joey Porter Jr. If they can get solid play out of Jackson, and I know he hasn't been that for a couple of years, his final couple of years in Carolina, but if he can get back to that, that'll be a positive for that secondary. He doesn't have to be a number one here. He's got to be a solid number two, and I think there's hope within that building that he can be.
I was under the impression, I think you were too, that when the pads went on, Russell Wilson was going to be back practicing, Ray. He's out there, he does the 7-on-7 stuff, and he hands off in team drills. What the hell is going on with him?
Well, I mean, listen, he's not going to be out there Friday night, right? Full padded practice. They get after it on Friday Night Lights, so he's not going to be out there then. Do you bring him back on Saturday or Sunday? I don't know. You got a day off there on Monday, so maybe they'll reevaluate it on Monday, and we'll see what happens during game week. Then you have Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday as the run-up to the Texans game. But you would think he would have to get out there for 3 solid practices in a row before they would play him in a preseason game. So I think that Texans game is up in the air. I'm not going to get overly concerned, though, unless he misses multiple preseason games. I think it's okay to be cautious with this. So as long as he's out there for games number 2 and 3, I think it'll be fine. But it's certainly taking longer than I anticipated for sure.
Ray Fittipaldi.